exchange panel. Today we have with us three countries, Tunisia, Italy, and Canada, that will be sharing with us about their cultures, answering our questions, and of course, all of this to kill stereotypes and get to know each other. So as you may know, Enactus is a worldwide organization that gather many countries around the world. So this is for us an opportunity to get to know other Enactors from across the world and at the same time discover other cultures. So let's start. As you may know, we received many questions from our community on our social media who really were like eager to know about different aspects of your countries. We have questions about history and language, about food, about tourism and lifestyle, about studies and opportunities in your countries. So I'll be asking each one of you questions, and as for you, you'll be able to ask us your questions about Morocco. What do you want to know about us? What do you want to discover? And yeah, so let's start. So our first question was from one of our followers who wants to know what's the meaning of the colors of the Italian flag. As I see, Giacomo, you have your Italian flag behind you, so green, white, and red. What these colors means to you guys, to your country?
Yeah, so this is actually quite a tough question. I haven't done my homework on this, but I think I remember the meaning of one of the colors, and I think it's red. And I don't know if you know the colors, like rosso magenta, red magenta, which is one of the names of the colors. And the meaning of the meaning why the Italian flag is red is because of the blood that has been scattered on the magenta battlefield. So like in the 19th century, there was a battle in Magenta, and lots of blood was spread on that day, and that's why Italians use the red color. I don't know for the other two colors, I'm sorry, but I hope one's enough.
To tell us about the other two colors.
Yeah, the other two colors, the white ones, it represents the snow of our mountains, while the green one represents the grass, so the field of many beautiful places in Italy are linked with the grass, with this beautiful view, so that's why.
Okay, so you said something about snow. You said the white one means snow. That's when my second question pop up for Canada. We all know that your country is really cold. So some people wants to know, is it really cold during the whole year? And is all Canada cold, or there are some regions where you can spend your summer there? So we can have Anna.
Hi, that's a great question. I get this question so many times. As you can see, I actually thought about wearing a hat just to represent Canada, but it's actually super hot here right now. I mean, our super hot is not anybody else's super hot though. Like our super hot is about like 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know. But yeah, it gets really cold in the winter. Like the snow comes like up past my head, and I'm about 5'1". So the snow is definitely accurate, but it's only during the winter.
Okay. So, and we have another question for Canada about your accents. Like I noticed that like you Canadians, and a lot of people notice that you have a lot of accents. So some people wants to know, where did you get your French accents? Like, is all Canada speaks French, or you have other language, like you have English, French, and some other Canadian language? So if you can have Justin.
Okay, so, well, I'd say Canada's two main languages is English and French. I guess being from here, I don't really notice our accent. Obviously, when we go to Quebec, we hear their French accent. But I guess one thing that I noticed that we're known for is saying a lot. So that's kind of like a Canadian thing that people think we say all the time. I'm guilty of it for sure. I tend to say it a lot, like "How you doing, eh?" or something like that. But in regard to the English accent, I'm not sure like where that came from. I think it's just how our country has developed over the years. I don't know if Carter can add to that.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, well, in all the countries we have like different accents, and we discovered that even if we are from that country, we can speak many languages with different accents, and we cannot understand each other even if we are from the same land. So let's go to Africa. For Tunisia, this question is like kind of history, general culture thing, because I didn't know about it, so I went to look for it. Someone said, what was Tunisia called before? It wasn't called Tunisia, apparently. It had another name. So what was it?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So Tunisia was called Carthage in the back time. It's called Carthage, but then flattered to Carthaginians who built the Tunisia in the Roman times. So it has succeeded civilizations, and then the name now is Tunisia. So back then it was Carthage, related to Carthaginians, Romans.
I see. The Romans, Italy. You're
Yeah.
everywhere. So now we'll go to another question for Italy. Like talking about Italy, it's about the hand talk. So we all know that you speak with your hands a lot, and some people want to know like why? Why do you speak with your hands? And do you speak any other language other than Italian? So Alice?
I don't know why we move so much our hands, but we do. We notice that just when we go abroad and we talk with other people, and we realize that they don't move their hands so much. But it's just helpful to explain what we want to say. We're just really used to do that.
Yeah, you express with your
Yeah.
So now let's go to food, our favorite topic of the day. So for Canada, what is poutine? Like I have friends who went to Canada and they talk about it a lot, but is it like a dish or what is it exactly? Like
Poutine,
it's really good. Nicole?
poutine is French fries, so cut up potatoes with gravy and chunks of cheese on top. And it is quite good, but it's really filling. Yeah, it could be a meal. Some people, I guess, treat it as more like a snack or a side dish. But yeah, it's just French fries with gravy and cheese on top. Pretty simple.
It's simple, but it's famous all around the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And like talking about cheese and fries and everything, there is one country other than India who has spicy food. We can guess that it's Tunisia. So the question was, what's the story behind harissa, and is every plate of yours is spicy? So Rihab?
Okay, the story of harissa. So let me introduce what harissa is. It's basically pepper, chili, and onion and garlic paste. It's very hot, it's very good. And yes, basically every Tunisian dish have harissa in it. The story of harissa. So I think that harissa is mostly famous in a place in a region in Tunisia called Gabon or Nebel. It's a place where people are very famous for making a harissa. Like when you go in the season of making it, you'd find the whole place becoming red. So it's definitely something about history that I'm not really aware of, but it's been in Tunisian tradition for a very long time, and we're named as the people of harissa. We eat it a lot. You find it in every food, in every street food. It's soul food for us, and it's something that everyone must try.
But it's spicy. I tried it. It's super.
Yeah, we can go spicier. I think that the canned harissa is not very spicy, but if you make it homemade harissa, yeah, that's the real deal.
Okay. So talking about food, I received many questions about Italian food, like pasta, pizza, and all of that. Like like most of the countries around the world eat that. Like we prepare that at home, but we know that it's originally from Italy. So what's special about your pizza or your pasta that other countries don't have? Let's have Usama.
I think that that's a good question for Giacomo because he's like a chef. So,
Oh, so glad we have an Italian chef with us today, Giacomo.
No, I wouldn't say I'm a chef, but I like my pizza. Yeah. So basically the real pizza comes from Naples, which is in the south of Italy, and that's where it was let's say invented. And I don't know what's special, but I've just tried it there and everywhere else, and it's just much better. Don't know why, but in Naples, yes.
Okay, so send us your pizza and your pasta. Like I went to Italy and I really, really loved your pasta, guys. Like we prepare it at home in our countries, but it's not like the Italian one. Like you feel there is something about it. There is an Italian vibe in it. So let's move on to next question, which is about your lifestyle in your countries. So for Canada, we hear a lot that it's not really cheap to live there, that it's expensive and stuff like that. Is it true? And how do you like judge your economy like in your countries? Kathy?
Yeah, for sure. So the economy, I find the prices aren't, I guess it's because I've been here for so long that the prices don't bug me. It is, the minimum wage is $15 right now, and prices do go up according to the economy. But I find compared to other places, it might be at par actually, because I remember going to South Korea, and when you exchange their currency there, it's actually equal. So a dollar here is a dollar in Korea, and the lifestyle in Korea is actually pretty cheap to live in. So,
okay, that's good to know, because like most people who want to travel to Canada really are concerned about the currency, are concerned about the lifestyle there. Is it cheap? Is it expensive? And stuff like that. So talking about cities, some people want to know what is the most famous monument and city in Tunisia, Reem?
First of all, let me think about it a little bit because we have a lot of beautiful places in Tunisia. I can't specifically choose one, but I guess we have El Jem, which is a Romanian theater. It's the biggest one. It's the second biggest one after the one that's in Italy. We have also very beautiful beaches, but I can't recall a specific monument right now. We have Dugga also, which is a historical place. The Romanian lived there before too. I don't know, that those are the one I can think of right now.
It's okay. And like most of the questions who popped up on our social media were about, since we have a community of students and youth, they were asking about opportunities, they were asking about studies in your countries. So one of the questions was for Italy. Like someone said, if I want to go study in Italy, should I know Italian, or in your universities they teach English?
Yeah, actually, it depends. In many Master of Science, they teach in English, but it depends on what you study. So I think that there's not a unique answer, but it depends on the university. But I mean, the major part of university Master of Science, so in the master degree, they talk in English.
Okay. And how about you, Canada? Like, we had a question about the research field. Someone said, is the research field in Canada accessible or not? And is there any scholarships to go study there? We can have Hannah if you want to answer this question.
I wish I knew more about the research field. I'm in accounting, so I don't do a whole lot of sciencey things. I wish I could give you such a good answer, but at the school I'm at, it's in like a place in Eastern Canada called Nova Scotia, and we have about like 50% of our students at my school are international, and we have like a lot of really cool programs to come and study. And kind of following up on the last question about expenses, if you go to like a smaller part of Canada, like in Eastern, it's a little bit cheaper and there's lots of research opportunities at my school and things like that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Like you have scholarships, and in Eastern of Canada, it's cheaper to go study there.
Yeah, like a lot of people know about Toronto in Canada. That's like our main city. It is a bit more expensive in Toronto because it's bigger city. Nova Scotia is pretty small, but like lots of beautiful trees and things like that, and lots of the living expenses aren't that high. So it's a good place to come if you don't want to get scared by the big city and get that Canadian nature life.
Yeah, I see. Like because people, like for youth, for students, they are most afraid about of studies in other countries, the expenses and everything. So we will go to general culture. Like some funny questions, side questions, and the first one was for Italy. This is a question like this is something that we see in movies. I think you guessed. It's like the mafias and everything around it. We like most people around the world have these kind of stereotypes about Italy. Oh, they have mafias. They people who like criminal people and stuff like that. So is it true that you have a lot of mafias there in Italy? Like, do you actually see them in the streets, or it's just something in the movies?
I mean, yeah, we have a lot of mafia, and this is a big problem in Italy. But I don't think we're the only country that has this big problem about mafia. And also, maybe it's just in movies that is exaggerated. We cannot see like in the street people going around with guns and stuff like that. It's not that way, definitely.
Okay, so you're saying it's just in movies. That's a good. We'll not be afraid to come to Italy.
No, don't worry.
Okay, so the other question was for Tunisia. This is like a tricky question because someone asked, who is the Arab country that you feel the closest to? Study your answer. So anyone who wants to answer, like there's like political matters here.
Yes.
Go ahead, Amira.
So for me,
okay, like the closest to, for we can have Miriam's answer, like the closest to, like in a cultural matter, in a language matter, in a mindset matter.
Actually, I think the closest one is Algeria. it's just one answer.
It's
yeah.
Okay.
Let me say it's a typical answer for all the Tunisians here. It's a typical answer, even Algeria or Morocco. So
they knew.
So basically, we share the same culture, the same, if I may say that. It's either Algeria or Morocco for closest.
Yeah, because like for the other countries, Canada, Italy, or any other country, they really think that we are the same. Like Moroccan and Tunisian, they're like, you guys speak the same language. And, like,
you wear the same clothes.
And everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and we eat couscous.
Yeah, and we eat couscous. I think the others already know.
Yes.
So, one last question before we go to our Moroccan fellows here, about coronavirus, about the virus. What happened lately? We all know that the whole world shut down. Everyone was locked down in their houses. So there is a question for Canada, how coronavirus had impacted the social level. So we can have Kathy, Nicole, Justin, Anyone who wants to answer? Hannah?
So I think overall Canada has done what they needed to do in order to, stop this pandemic. So we've closed our borders. We're continuing to close our borders against the US and the whole world actually. It actually depends on each province on kind of the social distancing regulations or quarantine regulations.
Okay, I see. Like it was.
So and we've actually started lifting our quarantine kind of restrictions. So we've passed stage 1, and stage 1 was really just kind of restaurants, and there was kind of limited capacity in restaurants and things like that. And now we've actually started stage 2 already. So it's more of like nail salons or hair shops and stuff that are more hands-on and more kind of close proximity with everyone. Where we're allowed to do that yet. However, we're not yet going to stage 3. I'm unsure of the other provinces and how their regulations are working though.
I can step in for the eastern provinces. I'm not sure where you're from, Kathy, just to add on to your point. Yeah, well said. I'm in the eastern provinces, like I said, so they're a bit smaller. We managed to get it under control pretty quick. Like all of the provinces shut down internally, so you couldn't cross the borders. So they're like our states. I don't know if everyone calls them provinces. And here we're pretty much everything is back open, but it's a little bit of a panic. You can now cross borders into different provinces if you're in the eastern part of Canada. But with that comes a certain type of risk, because you'll see people walking around eating dinner it's normal and going out. But in a sense, it's when the second wave comes, I think it'll hit us a bit harder.
Okay, great. So it's like the same thing all over the world, that now we are starting to go back to our normal life. I know that, for example, Italy, they struggled a lot with what happened, and yeah, hopefully we are going to go back to our normal life and meet all of us in the World Cup next year, Enactus World Cup next year. So now we will go to our fellows Moroccans. I know that you guys had a lot of questions about Morocco, and you were having some confusions about our culture and everything. So we will start with your questions. So our Moroccans fellow, we have today with us Osama, we have Monsef Nihal from Enactus, which is a university here in Morocco, in the Oriental region of Morocco. So the first question was, how did Enactus Morocco develop the rich mixture of cultural influences? Because as we know, in our teams, we have, in some teams, we have different cultures and different mindsets in different countries. So Monsef or Osama, if you want to answer this question. If in your team, I know that you have some members from other parts of this world, for example, from South Africa or from Mauritania or anything. So how do you deal with these members in your team?
So hello everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for being there, and thank you for be today in this cultural exchange. So for the question, so really when we want to talk about in the team, in the Enactus Estirda, so we have a different type of the culture in the same team, because we know that we have in Morocco a different culture. So we can say that me, an example, I am from the Casablanca. I'm studying in Oujda. So the others members also seem like this. So we have a lot of cultures in the same team. So and it's a good point. So really, when we talk all of we talk about the same language. We talk about the Arabic, or between brackets our language, Darija. So and it's so good.
Okay, so mainly you try to deal with your differences, even if some people come from center of Morocco, North Morocco, South Morocco.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Just a matter of teamwork and everything. Good. So the second question was, what is the most commonly heard stereotype of Morocco? We have a lot of stereotypes, trust me. So Nihal, if you can tell us, like, which stereotype you think is the most common in our country?
So the most commonly heard stereotypes of Morocco. There are five. That's Moroccans live in a desert oasis surrounded by palm trees, and that's all Moroccan women wear the hijab. And the three ones, and that Moroccans always wear traditional clothes.
So these are like, for you, the most common stereotypes in Morocco, right? I think you're right, because most, and I'll add something, is that some countries think that we go to work with camels. So this is something really common because like they think that we really use camels, but the truth is, us as Moroccans, we take pictures with camels. For us, it's like something touristic to do in our country. So yeah, like the next question is, which are the cities in Morocco that you absolutely have to see? We have a lot of cities, but I'll leave the floor to Monsef to tell us which are the cities that you really, really should see while visiting Morocco. Monsef, can you hear us? I think you should activate your mic. Okay, let's have someone else's answer. We am.
So hello everybody. For the city, how it's very important to visit in Morocco. We have many cities. So we have Marrakech, Agadir, Casablanca, Rabat, Fawea. Of course, from city, it's different, and it have the special magic. So when we have the choice between the Moroccan cities, it's very difficult to choose one city. So we have many cities for
yeah, as you said, like each city has a different vibe and it has a different story and culture. Like for example, in North, it's more the Spanish and culture.
So when we go in North in Tanja, Tetuan, we find the Andalus culture. When we go in Est, Oujda, we find the Algerian culture. We have the Bloufa, we have the very think Algerian in Oujda. So we come to Casablanca. It's the most
city.
We have it's the capital of industry.
Yeah, that's true.
Donc, when we go to Dakhla, we find the culture of
the beach, the summer.
It's the Hafani, the culture of Hafani. We find very different culture.
Exactly. So, guys, if you ever come to Morocco, you have a variety of cities, a variety of to see, and the monuments that you can visit. So, one last question is for you guys. What is one thing about our country that the world should know more about? So, if we need to choose one thing that the world should know about, what would it be?
Firstly, I'm so happy to be with you today. thanks to Enactus Morocco for giving us this opportunity. Well, Morocco is one of the best countries when you can spend your vacation. Actually, you can have a different experience depending on the weather and your location there. There are many exciting activities that can be done throughout the year. Also, those activities are so cheap, and most of the places are safe. Moreover, our Moroccan people are so friendly. Excuse me.
That's true. Like, there is one thing that the world should know. I think it's this thing that Moroccan people are so friendly. Like, whenever you go, I can see that Usama has a cup of tea next to him. So you drink tea. Like, be ready to drink a lot of Moroccan tea with tea. Whenever you go here in Morocco. So I think that's mainly the question that we had today. I don't know if you have any questions, other questions from the public. If not, I think that our session ends here. It was really a pleasure being with all of you guys. I hope that our community, our Moroccans, and everyone who are watching this live got to know your countries, Tunisia, Italy, Canada, and also Morocco. It was really a great pleasure to be here today with you. I had a lot of fun talking to you and get to know each one of you, and especially get some answers for my questions, because even me, when I saw the questions, I was like, these are some things that I didn't know before. Let's see what you guys have to say about it. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
In Morocco one day, you are more than welcome to come here to visit us. And yeah, see ya. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you, next Morocco.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you, Saima.
Thank you.